I've never told anyone this whole story. Not my wife, not my brother, not even the officer who filed the report that night. I told him the parts that made sense. This is the rest of it. It was the middle of January, 2 years ago. I was driving home from my father's place. A 2-hour trip through backroads that cut through miles of dead forest before hitting the highway. I'd left later than I meant to. By the time I hit Blackwood Ridge, the road that winds along the tree line outside of town, it was already past midnight, and the snow was coming down hard enough that my headlights just bounced back at me in a wall of white. I want you to understand something about that road. There's no houses out there, no gas stations, no cell service for almost 11 miles. Just trees, snow, and the kind of silence that presses on your ears. I'd driven it 100 times. I never thought twice about it until that night. About 4 miles in, my headlights caught something at the edge of the tree line. 2 shapes, low to the ground, standing perfectly still on the shoulder of the road. I slowed down, thinking deer, maybe a couple of coyotes. But as I got closer, I realized they were dogs, big ones, easily the size of large shepherds, maybe bigger, with coats so black they seemed to swallow the headlights instead of reflecting them. They weren't moving. They were just standing there, side by side, facing my car, watching it come. I did what anyone does. I slowed down more, gave them room, figured they'd bolt into the trees like any spooked animal would. They didn't. As I passed, both of their heads turned to follow the car, slow and deliberate, like they were tracking something they'd been waiting for. I remember catching their eyes in my mirror for just a second. They didn't reflect the taillights the way an animal's eyes should. They just looked dark, flat, wrong. I told myself it was nothing. Big dogs, probably strays, probably somebody's farm animals that got loose in the storm. I kept driving. About a mile later, I checked my rearview mirror out of habit, and there they were, running behind my car, keeping pace with me at almost 40 miles an hour, side by side, completely silent, no barking, no panting breath visible in the cold, nothing. Just 2 black shapes eating up the distance behind me like it cost them nothing at all. I pushed the gas down. 50, 60. The road was covered in snow and ice, and I knew it was stupid, but I did not care anymore. I just wanted distance between us. And no matter how fast I went, when I checked that mirror, they were still there. Still, exactly the same distance back, like they weren't even trying. I called my dad. No signal, just static. Then nothing. Then, and I need you to understand, I have never been able to explain this part. My radio turned on by itself. Not tuned to any station, just white noise. The kind of hollow, static hum you get on a dead frequency, except underneath it, way down low, I swear to God, I could hear something that sounded almost like breathing, slow, deep, in rhythm with the distance closing behind me. I looked in the mirror one more time, and they weren't behind the car anymore. They were beside it, running level with my back doors, close enough that I could see the individual matted patches in their fur even through the snow. And that's when the one closest to my window turned its head and looked directly at me, not at the car, at me. And it smiled. I know how insane that sounds. I know dogs don't smile like that. But its mouth pulled back, wide, too wide, showing too many teeth for the size of its jaw. And its eyes held mine for exactly as long as it took me to scream and swerve the wheel. I don't fully remember the next few minutes. I know the car went into the ditch. I know I hit my head on the wheel. I know that when I came to, everything was silent. That thick kind of silence you only get in deep snow at night. And the radio was off, and the dogs were gone. I sat in that ditch for almost 40 minutes before another car found me and called it in. When the officer asked what happened, I told him I hit black ice, lost control, swerved to avoid an animal. That was the story I gave. It was easier than the truth. It was easier than watching him decide I was either lying or losing my mind. Here's the part I've never told anyone. When they towed my car out of that ditch the next morning, there were prints in the snow around it, paw prints, deep and wide, circling the car 3 full times before disappearing back toward the tree line. The tow driver asked me if I'd seen a wolf out there. I told him I didn't see anything. I don't drive Blackwood Ridge anymore. I go 40 minutes out of my way to avoid it, even in daylight. My wife thinks it's because of the accident, and I let her believe that, because the truth is worse. The truth is that some nights, when it snows hard enough, I swear I can still hear that low, static hum in my head, right before sleep, right on the edge of a dream. And every single time, I think about those eyes in my rear-view mirror, and that smile that no animal should be able to make. If you ever find yourself on a back road in the middle of winter, past midnight, and something is standing at the edge of the trees, watching, you come. Don't slow down to look. Don't check your mirror. Just drive. Because some things out there aren't lost. They're waiting. And once they start running behind you, they were never really trying to catch you at all. They were just seeing how far you'd let them follow before you looked back. If this one kept you up, subscribe to Whispers After Midnight for a new true horror story every week. And don't drive alone.